This is gonna be rough.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're going to be checking out the Transformers Studio Series Commander Class, Long Haul and Hook. Based on the original 1986 animated movie, these Constructicons are the central components to form the mighty Devastator, which is one of three combining teams releasing in 2025, making this yet again the Battle of the Combiners. And if I'm being completely honest, it's a team of updates that haven't really gotten off to the best start. Firstly, there was Scrapper, a Voyager Price Deluxe who unfortunately just turned out to be a downscale of the Combiner Wars version, Bone Crusher, which has to easily be one of the biggest disappointments to come from Studio Series, and now these guys, two roughly Voyager-sized Transformers retailing for the price point of a Commander Class, which, with them following closely behind the legendary SS-86 Optimus Prime, has got me thinking, will they be worth $90? First up is Long Haul, who does transform into a dump truck, and as we whack up an image of how he originally appeared in the G1 cartoon, visually he is already looking to be a marked improvement. Front, side to back, he is an incredibly faithful recreation of his animated counterpart, and despite not being able to actually dump from that trunk, is even packing some pretty neat mechanical detailing beneath the hood of the vehicle. All four wheels are even fully pinned into place, giving him the ability to ram his way through his enemies. And flying through some vehicle mode comparisons, up first is the Combiner Wars Long Haul, which, despite being much larger in comparison, I actually think is inferior to this brand new Studio Series version. The 86 movie Optimus Prime, Voyager Class Scrapper, Deluxe Class Bone Crusher, Devastation Optimus Prime, then finally 86 movie Bumblebee. Next up is Constructicon Hook, and as we again whack up an image of how he first appeared on the show, despite still being fairly close from an engineering standpoint to the Combiner Wars version, is actually looking to be a lot closer to the design in the cartoon. The only part that I think I would change would have to be to make Devastator's head detachable, to kind of match what we did see from the original G1 toy. But even from the back, this guy cleans up incredibly well, considering that he is basically a triple changer, and much like Long Haul, all 6 of his wheels are pinned into place, meaning that they not only look but also roll so much better in comparison to the Combiner Wars version. Which leads us on to some comparisons. Firstly, with the Combiner Wars Hook, the Studio Series Optimus Prime, Voyager Scrapper, Long Haul, Deluxe Bone Crusher, Devastation Optimus Prime, and of course Bumblebee. Flying through the Constructicon accessories, seeing as these guys are no larger than Studio Series Ironhide, to justify that Commander Class price point, they include a lot of parts to Devastator. Up first are their original G1 blasters, which are also blast effect compatible. The chest plate to Devastator, that can even be broken apart and attached onto Scrapper to match what we did see from the original G1 toy. Devastator's fists, which much like the Combiner Wars version, can even double as a pair of missile pods. Then finally the hips of Devastator, which when in vehicle mode can cleverly transform into a trailer for Long Haul to tow, which is a pretty neat throwback to how Overload appeared in the Revenge of the Fallen movie. So when you take into account the two Voyagers that would have retailed at the price point for roughly around $30 each, and then the accessories including the ratchets which are fully integrated into Devastator's hips, I do honestly think that this is worth the Commander Class price tag. Commencing Transformation Phase 1, both of these are actually pretty fun to transform. For the first step, take the back end of Long Haul and fully extend it. You'll then take the legs and lock these into place. The arms will then slide out to the side and forward, as we are now going to take the shoulders and hinge these here up. With that completed, we can now take this panel and slide it down, as we are now going to take the hood of the vehicle and fold it up. This will then create clearance for the entire upper half to fold down, until it does snap into place, with the backpack locking in and this panel following closely behind. Now that's completed, take the biceps and lock these into place, then make sure to fold out the fists. With the same applied for the second side, we can now split the legs directly down the middle, then finally for Long Haul, take the heel spurs and fold them back. For this guy's first step, take the crane, fold this down, and then fold the hook back. Take the backpack and firstly disconnect it, then secondly slide it back until it does tab into place. That will then give you access to Hook's shoulders, so extend them out to the side and drop them down. Once that's complete, we can now spin to the underside, take the shins and feet and hinge them up, then make sure to detach the base of the foot. You'll then spin around to the back and split this here directly down the middle, allowing the back part of his leg to slide up. Once you've done the same for the second side, we can now take the shin and snap it into place. Then finally, take the shoulder pads and slide these back down. And that is the transformation now fully complete. Here are the two Constructicons now fully transformed into their robot modes, which were really the forms that I was hoping the most would be an upgrade from what we did see from Combiner Wars, just as those Constructicons were incredibly compromised. And in the case of Long Haul, as we whack up an image of how he appeared in the original G1 cartoon, I think we may just be looking at our first major Studio Series upgrade. Proportionally, this guy looks so much better in comparison to the Combiner Wars version, and is not ridiculously oversized. The only thing which I think maybe they could have done a slightly better job with would be the neck joint. From the front, it just sits way too low and unfortunately does kind of cut off half the faceplate. But as we spin him around to the back and again compare him to the character model, not only is he completely filled in, but they did a great job in cleaning this guy up. Initially, I was kind of hoping that the wheels on the side could also fold in, but if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that even these are accurate to how Long Haul would sometimes appear in the show. And as for some robot mode comparisons, up first is the Combiner Wars Long Haul, and I think I can safely say that the brand new Studio Series version is an upgrade in about almost every single way, and the main reason for that would really be how they've now separated Devastator's hips from the individual mode. The 86 movie Optimus Prime, Voyager class Scrapper, Deluxe class Bone Crusher, Devastation Optimus Prime, and Bumblebee. As for the second half of this 2-pack, if I'm being completely honest, I can't say that originally I was too impressed. The official images made him look terrible, and whilst there are definitely compromises made to help out the combined mode, in person he actually doesn't look too bad. As we whack up an image of how he appeared in the cartoon, mostly a very faithful update. The only part of his design that I do think for a Studio Series figure they could have maybe engineered better would be the legs. If I'm not mistaken, then the driver's cockpit should actually be visible from the front instead of the back, and seeing as the transformation isn't really all that involved, I do think they could have found a way to make it work. And as we spin him around to the back, again, much like Long Haul, mostly pretty cartoon accurate, although the crane really should have been able to compress a lot more. It just hangs way too far down, but luckily is removable, and that way it does make him much more dynamic to mess with. As we fire through his comparisons, up first is of course the Combiner Wars hook. So unlike Long Haul, not a major improvement, but still I think the better between the two. The 86 movie Optimus Prime, Voyager class Scrapper, Long Haul, Deluxe Bone Crusher, Devastation Optimus Prime, and then finally Bumblebee. Firing through the Articulation, unfortunately this is still an area where they're not really that much better in comparison to their Combiner Wars counterparts. The head is on a ball joint, this can look up, down, tilt side to side, and rotate left to right. The shoulders can kick forwards, backwards, and all the way out to the side. The elbows are ball jointed, so can not only rotate, but can also bend to 90. Although unfortunately this guy's lacking both wrist and waist articulation, which are 2 points that I think this guy most definitely could have had. The hips though can kick forward, backwards, and completely out to the side. The thighs have no issues in spinning, and despite the actual knee joint being pretty limited, if you do make use out of the transformation joint, then these can bend way past 90. Then finally for Long Haul, he is also packing a pretty decent ankle joint. When it comes down to hook, the shoulder pads are articulated, which gives us great access to the ball-jointed head sculpt. The shoulders can kick forwards, backwards, and all the way out to the side. The biceps can spin, and due to transformation, the elbows are double-jointed, although that does begin to look slightly strange. Unfortunately, yet again, this guy's lacking both wrist and waist articulation, but the legs can kick forwards, backwards, and again, completely out to the side. The thigh does spin, with the knee joints packing a pretty decent range. Then finally, in addition to the foot being able to rock forwards and backwards, it can also rock inwards. But to really see what devastation these guys can cause, let's now put them through the pose test. Commencing Transformation Phase 2, when going into the combined mode, I find it much easier if you start off with the Constructicons in their vehicle modes. So starting off firstly with Scrapper, take the bucket, bend it back until it does snap into place. You'll then take the shoulders, disconnect them and rotate them all the way up until these also lock. You'll then take Scrapper's feet and slide them back, allowing for the hips to disconnect. As what you'll now do is take the cockpit and spin this all the way around until the back now faces the front. We can then split the top half directly down the middle, making sure sure that for now, only this side is locked into place. Then finally, spin around to the back on exactly the same leg, take the foot and snap this down. Next up, let's turn to Bone Crusher. So take the treads and angle them out to the side, which will then give us access to Devastator's elbow joint. With that fully extended, we can now take the treads and lock them back into place, with the only difference being that this panel will slide down and the ankle joint on the opposite side will snap directly into it. Next up is Long Haul. So take the back of the truck and slide this back. What you'll then do is disconnect the forearms and slide these here forward, and with the same done for the second side, take the shoulders and hinge them up, as we are now going to take the elbows and slide these down and rotate them around, as the shoulders are now actually going to snap into them. Once you've done the same for the second side, we can now snap this tab into place, take this back panel and slide it backwards until this also does lock into place. We can now take the legs of Long Haul and slide these forwards. As for the combined mode, the heel spurs are actually going to snap into the backpack. Next up, turn to Hook, and much like his robot mode transformation, collapse the crane down and fold the hook up. To make things slightly clearer, I have decided to remove the crane, but you do not need to at all. So now take this section and slide it down, and then take one of Devastator's shoulder joints and snap this into place. We'll now take the driver's cab and open this up to yet again reveal the second shoulder joint. With that fully deployed, we can snap this back into place, flip to the underside and take this connector hidden inside the chest plate. You'll then take the forearms on both sides, disconnect them and slide them forward, which will then give us access to the shins of Hook. Now you'll take what will eventually become Devastator's head and extend it out to the side, as we are now going to fold the two halves inwards until they eventually snap into place. With that complete, we can now take the shins of Hook and slide them back. We can also take both fists and slide these here in, with the forearm on the side snapping up, and the neck of Devastator sliding forward. With that complete, spin around at the head, open the entire faceplate up, slide it out, and then slide it back into its original position. We can now take Devastator's trailer and pop this panel open, as this entire section is going to slide back. It will then slide forward, back again, then finally back once more. With that completed, we can now take these two connectors and slide them until they do combine directly down the middle. You'll then take the hips and ratchet them down, as we are now going to slide these into Scrapper. So make specific notes out of this tab, as this is going to slide all the way inside that joint. You'll then take the second side and do exactly the same. And to make sure everything is locked into place, take this panel and snap it down. We can now take Long Haul and firstly connect him in at the front, then secondly at the back. We can now take Hook and slide him down. Now we can take Devastator's forearm and slide this into the elbow, take Bone Crusher and slide him down, then finally snap on the chest plate. And that is the transformation now fully complete.
Prepare for extermination.
Here is Devastator, now partially transformed into his combined mode, and despite the issues of the individual Constructicons, he's looking fantastic. As we whack up an image of how he first appeared in the G1 cartoon, from the front I think they nailed it, and easily one of the biggest improvements this version has over the Combiner Wars is how solid he feels. Each and every component of Devastator is locked in, and because this guy is mainly made up of Voyager price figures, the plastic and joints feel dense, and even as we spin him around to the back, despite it maybe not being his best looking angle, and don't worry, we're going to discuss this in way more detail in his actual review, everything is tapped in. And I really do think that is this Devastator's main selling point. He is not only much more manageable, but also a lot more enjoyable to mess with in comparison to the Titan class version. The head can spin side to side, the shoulders can kick forwards, backwards, and out to the side, the bicep can spin, with the elbows able to bend, the hands can rotate, and the fingers can open and close. The waist can spin, with the hips able to click forwards, backwards, and completely out to the side. The thighs can rotate, with the knees able to bend to 90. Then finally, the ankles can hinge inwards. And as we fly through some comparisons, first up is the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, Leader Class Megatron, King of the Dinobots Grimlock, Deluxe Devastation Optimus Prime, who I think is a great companion piece, especially if you prefer Devastator towering over the Autobots. Then finally, Bumblebee. So, wrapping up on this review for the Transformers Studio Series 86 Commander Class 2-pack. Despite some of the earlier Constructicons not leaving the best impression, these two are actually really good. Long Haul in particular I think is easily the standout, mainly due to him being such an improvement in comparison to what we did see from Combiner Wars. Both his robot and truck mode are visually way closer to the look in the cartoon, and with the exception of some lacking articulation, right now I think he's the best from the team. Hook, on the other hand, whilst is still decent, is definitely more along the lines of the first two. The vehicle mode looks great, but the robot mode really is just mainly a repeat of Combiner Wars. As for the combined mode, Devastator looks amazing. A really solid, very well put together combiner, and once completely assembled, will no doubt become the highlight release of 2025. So, as far as the Commander class price point goes, I think it's worth it. You not only get two very solid Voyagers, but a big chunk of accessories. I would love to know what you guys think of this 2-pack. Be sure to sound off below and let me know. As always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Transform and roll out!